according to you, what will universities look like in 2030?
See, I already indicated that universities will, first of all, my sense is that they will become smaller. Only limited number of people will access university education. Many of them will choose not to go to the university. This is, as many of you would know, it is true of American universities, British universities. Large number of people opt out of higher education because they feel that either it is not worth it or they don't have in it to kind of pursue that. The same will happen in India as well. There'll be intermediate channels of educating, skilling, placing people in jobs or helping them become entrepreneurs. So, but whatever universities will remain, there'll be a natural, the Darwinian natural selection process. Many will wither away. Whatever will remain will be like the ICFAIs, or many of us know, I won't mind naming them. There are some brilliant private universities which have come up in the last decade or so. They would be like them. Only few universities will remain. They will all have that stamp of excellence in them.
Pleasant listening to you, sir. This is Professor Shauri, Associate Professor here. This is regarding internships. So much thankful to you for touching the ground realities of education today. In Telangana state, there are about 1 lakh engineering seats and 30,000 MBA seats, of which 60% of them are in rural areas, where no internships are available to the students. Are there any practical, realistic solutions that could be provided to make these internships really meaningful, vibrant, such that they stimulate the students to do a committed work during their internships, sir? Thank you.
No, I completely agree with you. In fact, the last point on my notes that I had prepared for this lecture mentioned internship, but I kind of stopped before, since I looked at the clock and found that it is 4. I wanted to speak about internship. In fact, as I was introduced, I went to a very good institution of higher education, the Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. And I remember in IIMs, typically very talented and very brilliant kind of candidates join. And I remember even amongst my classmates, many of them, after they completed the course, they joined the industry, and I would bump into them here and there. Many of them would comment that I learned more in my job in the first 3 months or 6 months than the 2 years that I spent in the IIM. So despite being in an intellectually charged atmosphere, being taught by brilliant faculty members, some of the toppers would say that I failed to learn anything here, and whatever learning I got instantly after getting into a job. Some of it may be an exaggeration. If they say that I could not learn anything here, that may not be literally true, but maybe they did not get the value of their time and effort, and they learned more on the job. So all the more it kind of points to the fact that there must be a strong component of industry interaction, internship, also getting, so again this pandemic has shown a way that first of all, where is the faculty located does not really matter. Faculty can be located anywhere. And this is a practice which some institutions have been following much, much before the pandemic. The BITS engineering institutions, for example, they follow this. As you know, there are 4 BITS campuses. And wherever you are, whoever is the best faculty, he teaches all the BITSes through this remote means. So in pandemic, one more phenomena which was seen was that lots of industry people, because they also have free time on hand, they were also asked to come and take guest lectures, etc. So they brought in lots of industry experience. And the feedback is that their sessions were much better received than the sessions of regular faculty. So all these experiences of the experience of IM students after they pass out, the experience of industry people joining as guest faculty or coming for guest lecture, shows that there is a very strong need and a desire and demand to give education or give at least content to the students which has a practical basis. But again, it is not to undermine the fact that unless you have a good theoretical understanding, you will not be able to appreciate the practice also. So it is not to say that your entire teaching should be only practical based or only experiential. I did not mean it in that way, but definitely internship is very important. And again, it's a chicken and egg kind of thing. The corporate world complains that they don't get skilled people. But when they are asked that why don't you work with students at an early stage, allow them opportunities for internship, open your doors to the students, work with the faculty, support faculty development programs. Some of them do come forward, but many of them hesitate. So it will require efforts to both create that demand and provide that supply to do this matching between academic institutions and the industry. But it is very much required, in my opinion.
Sir, thank you very much for this, well-meaning presentation by you. It's always been a pleasure listening to you. I've heard you several times. Coming to NEP, is there any roadmap that is being prepared, laid down for the state of Telangana? And how do you actually see unfolding this NEP in the state of Telangana? Thank you.
Professor Bhaskar, see, I don't have a day-to-day involvement in this sector, but I know from my colleague that they have created a committee action points, 370 or 380 maybe, 380 action points which require to be done to implement the NEP. But at the same time, they are also being told that the national government is also going to give much more clarity, more guidelines, etc., on how to implement that. So everyone is at that stage. But my personal feeling is that without waiting for Government of India, and even if you have listed out 380 action points, I'm sure there'll be many which can be done without much effort, without much budget. It just requires consensus and kind of taking people along. So we should get going. If I were the person involved in that decision making, I would have started some activity at least by now. But I know that it is at a stage where action will start sooner than later.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the lecture and Q&A. I request Professor Rangarajan to give the presidential remarks. Professor Rangarajan.